So on the bento part here, I'm going to grab the screen again using my print screen, or better still, sniping to any of the one, then come back to the class practical, and I'll press Ctrl V to paste that. So in this part of the site, I'm going to do some other cool ones too as well. Let's see. Okay, so already know how to make use of the texture, and in case you don't really know what they did here, I'm going to do these two, any of the two, then I will show you how to achieve all of this lighting, and then we move. So for us to achieve that, I'm going to just create more of a square, and I'm going to have a corner radius. In my case, I'm using 12 together with a rounded. Yeah, I think 12 is too small, so let's do 24. I think 24 works fine. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just copy the write-up that I have here. Just move this guy here downward. Then what I would do here is to select this and select the darker color of this one here, and move these guys to be at the top. In our home case, I think the font is more bolder, so I'm going to increase that a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that the font stays in track. Just a little bit of adjustments. Okay, so we have this, and I think it sits perfectly at the center of it all. Then the next thing I'm going to have is to have mind you, this guy is the gradient, and the gradient is diagonal, so always pay attention to details. It's going to help you and save a bunch of time. I'll select the color from this environment here, and I'm going to pick the other color from this guy at the top, from this way around, so that we can have something like this, just something so soft. Then another thing I'm going to do here is to just bring in my texture. So let me go back again and just grab another one. In our case, I'm going to use this script tool for you to see how you can make use of other ones too as well. And I will press Ctrl V to paste that in my work environment. So I can reduce the size, which is, then you can change 1 to 2 if it is number. I think they have it more mirroring style. Let me take this guy outside, and let me bring this guy to where I want it to be. Of course, it's inside the frame, and I'm going to extend the dimension here and also here a little bit. Then I will add the ellipse shapes to be at the top, particularly moving towards this direction. I'm going to hold down the shift key to select the texture and come over here to use as mask. Then click on the ellipse shape. I'm going to also change the color to something more way lighter, and I'm going to use the effect layer blur to be precise to increase all of this dimension. Okay, so I'm going to reduce my size, and I think this works a little bit. Let me see. Okay, they just use variation of gray colors, and they added more here. I'm just giving an instance anyway, but I'm not using the same pattern they make use of here. So when you are able to achieve all of these things, click on everything from here down here, Ctrl G to group them, then you can lock that positioning, move your items or your text inside, and I think that works a little bit more comfortable. If you feel like, okay, the whole pattern thing is disturbing your text, you can click on here and unlock these environments. You can reduce the opacity a little bit, not the frame, Ctrl Z, the frame should be 100. I mean the grouping. You can use your button on the keyboard to reduce all of those things. Okay, I think that works in our case. Then you can click on the frame also to just work on this part of the make it maybe a little bit more darker. Yeah, if that works for you, I think it works for me too as well. Then you can have the illustrations they have there. You can put all the things they put there, and I think you are good to go. Then one more thing, I'm going to show you how to achieve all of these things before I move into the lighting. For you to achieve all of those things, all you need to do is to have a frame. So I'm going to have a frame, and I'm going to give it a full corner radius. Sorry, I'm going to give it a full corner radius. So in my case, I'm going to use 500, and also I will click on this frame here, select the color here, click on this other frame and paste the color. I think that works, right? Then one more thing, I'm going to click on this, and select this group of the texture and pattern. I'm going to repeat the same thing here too as well. But in my case, I'm going to just reduce that a little bit so that it doesn't really cover the environment, just show where I want it to be. I'm going to log that environment and I'm going to have something like this. I'll make a duplicate of this text. I'm going to press 08. I think that's what they have there. Then also increase the size till I'm comfortable and change the stroke to something like this. Work on the letter spacing and cut out the excess of spaces. Make sure that it's sitting at the center of it all. Okay, one more thing, they have match here and there's a bit of fading of yellow here, which is a very cool thing. So let's say we have the match they have there, and then let's say we close it up. Then we right click on that to fix the typography issues. Match. Then let's say we do this, and if possible we just give it 0 letter spacing since the text is way more smaller compared to the bigger ones, sitting at the center of it all. And one thing we are going to do here to get the fading yellow parts effect is very simple, is to make a duplicate. Ctrl D, we have a duplicate, and we are going to change this color to yellow or something like this. So what I'm going to do here is to go over to the layer mask, and just to use a bit of fading. You can make it more, but then I think 4 is fine for a start. Then you can go to the blending option and check it up. Okay, so the more we go, the more it pops, right? So you can either use between the lighting and the screen to get what you're looking for, or you can use any of these things. So let's say we use the screen, we can increase the value so that that one shows more, but then a little bit more, and we can also reduce this if you feel like it's too much. So one more thing we are going to do on this, we are going to go over to effect again, and on the layer blur, we are going to use a progressive effect, not the uniform. The progressive enables us to control the areas we want to get blur and the areas we don't want. So here at the top here, according to what we have, the top is called the start. The start is going to have a value, while the end is going to have 0 value. Then we can stretch this anywhere we want it to be, and we can work on this guy anywhere we want it to be as well. So we can change the blending option too as well until we find what we are looking for. Plus lighter works. Then let's see, we change color to some other things. Okay, then we can even increase the value for the start, and at the long run we are able to have something like this glowing the way they have it from the Huly. And I think that makes a lot of sense for what we want to achieve. So I'm going to do one more thing, which is the lighting that we have at the bottom here. Then I'm going to round off this video. I think we've been pretty engaged with a long section of this video, and I think that makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to continue some other activities in a subsequent video to come. So make sure you leave a like, a subscribe, and also drop a comment if this video is helping you out. So what I'm going to do here to get the light done is very simple. I will come to the bottom of this guy, or the bottom part of this component. Make sure you log this guy. Okay, then you come to the frame, and we are going to have the ellipse shape. I will use the keyboard shortcut key letter 0 to do that. Make sure that the ellipse shape is sitting at the center of this component, and I will go to the color, maybe change the color to something like this, and I will apply a little bit of the layer blur, increase the value as well too. Okay, I'm going to press Ctrl D, to make another duplicate, and I'm going to change the blending options to another thing entirely. Okay, then if possible we can increase that a little bit. We are coming up with the light. It's just more of a repeated pattern. I'm going to press Ctrl D again to have another one, and every time I press Ctrl D using the same effects, it's going to give me different lighting stuff. And I think this is cool for what we want to use it for. One more thing to do is to make sure that you change the color to something else so that I can have more powerful powerful stuff. Then we can press Ctrl D again, but this time around I'm going to limit that alone to be at the center of it all, and something way more glowing. If you shoot out, this is what it's going to have, but then you can change all of this option to anything we want it to be. But I think this plus lighter works. The only thing I have to do is to reduce this value here. Okay, if that is the goal, this is how it looks like. And if I move it upward a little bit, this is what it's going to look like. If I do the same thing more, this is what it's going to look like. So you keep on going, and in case you want to add some other animations to this, you can create them as a component, and you can add a little bit of animations, which is going to make it more interesting UI components. So it goes on, and you can use that to style anything you want to style at the part of you working on whatever it is you're working on. The only thing you need to do is just to repeat the lighting and change the value, change the colors, and you are good to go. So then you can add any of your components you want to add in this very environment, and I think that makes a lot of sense, right? So for example, we can make a duplicate of this guy and use the scale tool to scale it down and bring it downward, or bring it here to be at the center of what we are planning to do. Now that we have it, another thing you have to keep in mind is that let me click on this and let me reduce that a little bit. What you have to keep in mind again is that when you have light shining on the component, I think it's supposed to be a light. So we can create all of those lights, and let me see what we have. The first thing you have to do is to add the drop shadow, right? Effects, and we have a drop shadow. Increase that a little bit, change the color to these, make it more obvious, and color to something that is going to help to complement what we have there already. I think that works, right? You can even change the option too as well to that's really just make a lot of sense. The only thing we can do is to add a blur to the drop down shadow, right? Drop shadow, right? Yeah, we can do all of those cool things here. And even though I leave it at plus lighter and I work on this guy here also, right? I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense. Okay, let's say we set this to 0. We can also add blur to the whole thing, and spread a little bit, and we've been able to create or add lights to what we have here. Okay, I think this is how it works. So you can add more lights at the top if that's your goal. Take one of the lights outside and bring it on top of where you want it to be, and we have more lights shining through. We can just reduce this, and also work on the layer mask, the layer blur rather, to have something more cool. Then we have all of these components. So there are no rules or rights. You keep on trying until you get what you're looking for. And I think all of this video explanation, I've been able to put more light into how to achieve a website like Huly, and some of the components and some of the interactions you will definitely see on the AI Look Alike website nowadays. These are the things I will cover in this video. And in the coming video, I will show you how to do all of this powerful thing using Unicorn or Rive. So I will encourage you to stick to the next video coming up, and I want you to subscribe, also to leave a comment if this video is helpful to you. I hope to see you from the other side. My name is David, and peace out.